Andrea, the sensible lady, co-founder and CEO of Declares to Life for Life. I put the sensible in sensible and help you declare the clutter in your life. And tonight we're going to talk about how to deal with the three-ring circus called life. You know, how many of us sometimes feel like we have days where we're juggling three things at once, and life just, if anybody's ever been to the circus, you have three acts going at one time, and you're trying to keep track of everything, and everything just, it just seems to really be passing you on by, and it's really difficult, and it seems like it's a chaos itself. And the whole thing about it is the whole thing is you wondering, it's like, which one do I pick? How do I see it happen? Believe me, today for me seems like a three-ring circus. On one hand, I've had one group of people accuse me of one thing, and doing all sorts of crazy things with it and telling me all sorts of different stories. And then on one hand, I've had, I made a mistake on some materials I'm working on for you guys. And then on another hand, I was dealing, I have to admit, with some issues of pain today. And it was just like a juggling act. I was began to wonder where, one began and the other one, began. And the whole thing is, I just, part of the day I didn't feel so great, and I was beginning to wonder, where do I start? Where do I begin? And it was just like a three-ring circus. And I had to think about, okay, where do I start? One of the biggest things I found was I had to start with self-care. When I started with self-care, I started grabbing a hold of some of the craziness out there because my mind started to clear. And that was a biggie. And, one of the biggest thing is I find the first thing to deal with a three-ring circus is learning to deal with our mind. Because, what goes on between the two ears, what we put into our brains, whether it be positive or negative, has a direct impact on whether or not we can handle a three-ring circus. I know for myself that when I put garbage in, I get garbage out. And, in talking with you guys that, and finding out that I find that, people, really wonder, kind of begin to understand that, when we put our mind out there, we wonder, what do you put into your mind so that you do have a good mindset? One of the first things I talk about too is having love and compassion for yourself. And that's a biggie. And forgiveness for yourself. Because when you can do those things as far as your mind and stuff is, and that. I'm also not a big fan of TV. If you haven't guessed it, I don't watch TV at all. I feel like the brain should be fed good stuff, good books, good videos, positive materials that really make a difference in whether or not our mind is fed good stuff. And that really helps me deal with the three-ring circus. And then another factor that I find helps me deal with the three-ring circus is taking care of my health. That's a biggie as far as if you're going to take care of a three-ring circus is, what, what do you do? Do you do those things that, make make your body healthy, or do we put garbage into our bodies? One thing having been, as I've spoken earlier, 494 pounds myself, I put a lot of garbage into my body, and that wasn't such a healthy thing. And I know a lot of folks out there, that's what you do. And we use our bodies as garbage dumps. But when you don't use it as garbage dumps, and you do a lot of good things for your body, like exercise and, eating good things, and, eating things that are appropriate for you, and that's going to be different for each person. But I am going to be having something out there for you in the near future about, something that will be sensible, that, you will be able to live with, because to me, being sensible about how we eat and how we take care of ourselves is really important, and how we take care of our own three-ring circus. And then another part to me of taking care of our three-ring circus is our spirit. And our spirit is a biggie as far as taking care of our three-ring circus, because when our spirit is in alignment with what we believe in, and we treat our what we believe in with respect and dignity, and as long as it has respect and dignity for other individuals, then it goes a long ways to making sure that that we can interact with folks of differing opinions. And just and looking at our mind, our body, our spirit, those are biggies when it comes to taking care of our three-ring circus, what I call our lives. And I think about that, and thinking about taking care of the three-ring circus, because when you can do all those different things as far as the three-ring circus, then you can do all sorts of things you may not think that are possible. I really would really like you guys to think about that. Think about some questions you may want to ask yourself. How well do you take care of your mind? How well do you take care of your body? How well do you take care of your spirit? Those are questions, I'd like to maybe have you stop and answer, maybe, and ask yourself. And I always like to pose questions to you guys, because I think it's important that we, pose questions to ourselves, because a lot of times we have the answers within ourselves, because, I can come to you and speak at you, but I can't necessarily be with you, but I will do my best to, hopefully be warm and welcoming, and help you have what you need to be able to transform your life. Because, life can be such a three-ring circus, because it's a crazy world out there we live in. We've got the internet, we got all the different ways we commute, we got all the different kinds of beliefs, we've got different political views, we got all sorts of stuff that goes on out there, and sometimes none of it makes any sense. It's just like like I said, when we go to the circus. We look at all three acts and we try to keep track of it all. And believe me, I have been to the circus, and I did it as a kid. And when I was a kid, and even as an adult, I thought I couldn't keep track of any of it, because you know what? I couldn't, other than trying to focus on one of the acts, trying to follow three of them was really important. I guess, in thinking about all that, I think the most important things that has been pointed out to me is to do the next right thing, if you'll think about that. Because if you can do the next right thing, you can handle three-ring circuses. Because if you do the next right thing, because you will be able to do one thing at a time. This idea of being able to multitask, it's been very much proven. The human body, if we try to multitask, and that includes myself, I've tried listening to music, I've tried doing all sorts of things at the same time. I just don't do as well if I just do the one thing at a time and focus. And focusing is important in being able to deal with the three-ring circus of life. And I'd like you to think about that. Focus and clarity. Those are biggies in dealing with the three-ring circus of life. Because when you can focus and have clarity, you can see through a lot of garbage in life. And when you can see through all that garbage, then you can make a lot of change happen in your life. And you know what? I would love to hear from you guys. And with that, I wish you a great Declares Delight for Life. You can reach me at ddflrocks at gmail.com, or you can messenger me on Messenger, and I will get back to you just as soon as possible, or put something in the chat box. And I would love to hear from you guys and what you have to think or feel or anything. Or if you'd like to join my group, I do have a Facebook group. If you'd like to join, we would love to have you. If you'd like to choose to, we do have some questions that we do ask of you if you choose to join. And you know, you might enjoy that too, because I do go into the group once a month and, you know, pose you guys a question. Yeah, and there's other things we do. And you know, and that's just one of the bennies of, you know, what we have here on, you know, what we do. And as time goes along, I'm hopefully have more to be able to offer you. And so with that, I wish you blessings, have peace and tranquility and love and compassion and love and hope, and let there be a light in your eyes, and blessings to you all, and have a great night.